Let me make sure we're live here. Man, I'm way out of practice on this. Testing, testing. We are. All right, dope. Yeah, I'm like so out of practice on this. I used to do this a lot. All right, we are live. Let me go live on TikTok here for you guys. No, it is not episode 1. Whatever. I'm not going to fret over that. Dudes. Oh my God. We left my tripod at a job, and that's been interesting. So anyway, all right, we're live again. Shoot, I dropped my phone. We're live again, guys. This is episode 2 of whatever this is turning into. I got my cords all over the place. Yeah, so episode 2, if you guys were here yesterday, you know, we really dove into how the business got started, kind of all the stories that kind of got into it. And today I really wanted to talk about what it's like the dirty middle. This is the stuff that once you're past the glamorous beginnings, which is the fun stuff, right? The planning, the really getting into stuff, then you start dealing with the shit, right? This is where stuff hits the fan, and it is difficult and it is hard. That's really what my kind of theme at the beginning of this is. So one of the things that's very, very interesting to me is, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I've gotten so many emails from people asking for advice and, oh, you inspired me and all this stuff. And my biggest fear is that so many people who have messaged me or commented or emailed are going to get into this if they get past the actual starting the execution phase, because a lot of people don't get past that. My biggest fear is those that get into this and actually do the first job are going to find out very quickly how difficult this is. This was something that I kind of voiced early on. Was I'm afraid that Gary Veach clip made it seem easier than it was, because we didn't really get into the nitty gritty of what that job is, right? It is difficult. It is going in and you're pulling up. Gary said it really great. Like, this dead rodent thing was funny that he made that as a point, because that literally happened before we got on them. We had a garage that we ended up having to scrape up dead rats off the ground. And it's not fun, and it sucked. And we needed hazmat suits, and we needed masks, and a ton of like gloves and it's dirty. This is very much a micro dirty job kind of thing sometimes, right? So I hope that what's going on. I'm not going to say that name because it's just too suggestive, but I appreciate you coming in. So this is really. The beginning of this, I really want to talk about this. The numbers that we've had are great. It's fantastic. But let me really break down like what's difficult about this. It's not just the dirty stuff. It's not just pulling the stuff out. It's also dealing with the logistics behind, what happens whenever your trailer breaks down. How do you deal with that? How do you make sure you're still on time when everything happens? Especially if you didn't expect that to happen. We were renting a trailer, and the trailer, the tire went flat. We didn't have a spare. We were 30 minutes away from, town basically. And it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, we're either going to buck up or we're going to just shut this down. And we figured it out. It was not easy. We had to run and go buy an air compressor real fast down the road, brought it back, got it aired up. We were able to take it back get it back finally to the place we needed to. I mean, it was just a lot of it's garbage stuff that you really deal with when you get into this. And so I hope that people understand, that stuff is there. The other stuff that goes on is like, man, like as you grow, I joke around with my crew all the time. As you grow and you have more overhead and you have more logistics, that old, the rap, more money, more problems is a real thing. as you start bringing in more stuff and you start having to deal with storage units, and you have to start dealing with how long, oh, I need the trailer 3 more days than I thought I was going to, so now I'm gonna have to pay that extra. One of our jobs went over by 12 hours, and I had to pay that 12 hours of labor. I mean, it's a lot of that nitty gritty and this is every business. It's not just us, right? It's every business has this kind of stuff. So long story short, I hope people understand that there's more into this, and hopefully today we've got another guest today, and I would really am excited to get into this and kind of dive in the nitty gritty. Real quick, I'm going to answer this question here on TikTok. The question was, may I ask your overhead costs at the moment? Great question. So currently we are, and this is not, let me make something very clear. This is not how we started. Because it can be much lower, but this is kind of what we expanded into. Currently my overhead, I have 2 full-time people. I have my crew manager and I have my reseller. They're both full-time. I pay them $18 an hour. It's about $7.20 before you do all the taxes stuff. So $7.20 a piece every week that we're paying out of them. I also have 2 storage units, which cost about $670 a month between the 2 of them. And then I also now have a truck payment for about $550 a month that we're doing. So whatever that costs, add that up. I'm not good at math. I'm not going to do that. It has turned into a lot of overhead. But it doesn't have to be that way. We started very small. We were using my garage for storage. We were using my truck. I didn't have anybody full time. I mean, all that stuff you grow into as the revenue comes consistent. So please don't think that that's the way to do that. Anyway, great question. I'm going to throw this over. We got a guest today. I have, just so you know, I go into these cold. I really want to go into this cold and be able to, give my gut feeling on a lot of this stuff. We do not prep any of this. I don't know if I'm going to regret that down the line, but I like doing it. So we'll see. I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to let him give his spiel, and we'll get started. So here we go. Thanks for joining, man. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your name, what you got going on, and then shoot me with some questions.
Yeah, so I'm Edward Cancino. I live in Utah, St. George, Utah, to be exact. I am a director of marketing by trade as well. Like, that's kind of what I've done. Though I focused mostly like on Amazon, but I've done just kind of everything: Shopify, Facebook marketing, Google marketing, etc. So I come from a marketing background. I maybe the same has been for you, but when you do marketing for a while, you kind of realize that that's a very useful skill for kind of doing your own business and developing ideas. Like, you can't help but have ideas.
Yeah.
Since when you're in marketing, you're handling advertising, you're
for so many businesses, right?
Grow, right?
For all the way across. I mean, so many industries. You really get in the nitty gritty of a lot of different industries. So I'm
right,
with
and
you.
Get to see them grow with the work that you do. And I've worked with companies that were selling 5 units a day to selling thousands.
And then they drop you.
Part of that journey, you're like, don't get me wrong, I got paid well, but nothing compared to what they did. Now, obviously, there's a lot that goes into being able to sell a product, the logistics behind it, etc. But when you're in marketing for a while, you can't help but have some of these ideas like, I should apply these skills that I have into kind of growing my own thing.
Hey, real quick, if you guys are watching on TikTok, if you jump onto our Facebook, you can actually see who's talking, because TikTok is just me. We got a real stream happening up on Facebook. Go find us there. I think we're on YouTube as well. You can find us. Just so you know, so you're not just watching me listen. Like, come see his face. He's got a beautiful mug over here.
Thank you.
But anyway, continue. Yeah, for 100%. Like, when you're in marketing, you learn so much about so many of the industries, and it really does kind of gut punch you a little bit watching these businesses grow and you see the leads happen. I'll tell you, one of the things that I hated doing was you would do these jobs and you would see the leads come in and you'd see the opportunities that they have, and then you watch them squander it. Yes. I hated that so much, right? Like, oh, we didn't close these leads. Well, yeah, it took you 4 days to get back to the guy, right? So, like, yeah, I'm with you 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of them don't let you dig in, but some of them have given me access, to their like lead management, whatever that may be, Salesforce, etc. And you can see that some of them got one touch point, they got a quote.
Yep.
Never heard back.
Heard back.
There's follow up. There's so much stuff that can happen there. And you're already fighting certain costs for acquiring a lead, etc. So yeah, there's when you're in marketing for a while, it feels like you can't help but kind of get these ideas of like, I should apply these skills to do my own thing. And I am trying multiple things. And this was one that was exciting for me, mostly because I've always been in the e-commerce world. I've always been selling, products online, and I've been just having the itch for a while now to do something local, to do something that I can see happening, to go from very little to something bigger, to grow something where I'm at. And this kind of aligned with all of that. So to tell you where I'm at right now, I am a believer of taking action quickly. So once I kind of got the whole idea that this is something I wanted to do, I went and created the business. I already created a website, Facebook, Google, everything I needed to create.
I love that.
I'm already started running Facebook ads. I actually have a job tomorrow.
Let's fucking go. Hell yeah, dude.
Well, that's the first one, actually, because I started this about a week and a half ago. So tomorrow is the first job. I'm going to be out there at 9:30 in the morning.
I love that.
For about $450.
So okay, so let's nitty gritty this. I'm curious on this. So you said you're already running ads, guys. Again, if you're on TikTok, come find us on Facebook or YouTube. You're already running ads. Tell me, let's break it down for people. How much have you spent so far? What did it cost you to get to that job? And then let's talk how many leads came in, right? So like nitty gritty, how many leads? How long did it take to get the sale? What did it cost? Hit me. And then I really want to know, what did the ad look like? The content. That's interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah. So I've spent about $300 in ads right now. So if this is the only job that comes out of it, we're, $300 in ads to get a $450 job. So, not the greatest ROI yet, but I do have another 2 quotes that I'm going to go give next week that came from all of these ads as well. So if, I can close those, then we're talking. I'm pretty excited just to have the first job. Because again, like,
the momentum.
When I start somewhere,
yeah,
I'm gonna, kind of milk this for a lot of content. Again, having a marketing background and understanding how Facebook works, content is everything, in my opinion.
100%.
And so I want to be able to get a lot of really quality content from this job that I'm going to do tomorrow, and excited to get my hands dirty there and kind of see. I think I have a general idea. I don't expect it to be easy, but
did you go see the garage? Did you go see it in person, or how did you do that?
No, this one was one where I wanted to go see it in person, but they just sent me pictures. And funny enough, when they send me pictures, it's a 3-car garage. They've already cleaned out a lot of the trash. They wanted more to get it like all taken out and then organized a little better. But when I first started talking to them, and she started the conversation with, "Hey, this is not something I want to do right now. I'm not in the financial position to do this right now. I just want to know so I keep you guys in mind for the future." So I told them, I'm like, generally we do a flat fee for this process. What would happen? She said, "Okay, thank you. That sounds great. I'm not in the position to do this right now, but thank you." 2 days later, she messaged me again. She's like, "Hey, can I send you some pictures and tell me what it would be for my house?" Oh, I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Send me the pictures. Doesn't look too bad. It does look like it's, mostly things that she probably can't move herself." And I told her, if she lets me record and do some things because I really want to create content, I would lower the price for, $450. She said, "Great, you know what? Let's do it."
I love that. And that feeling.
So,
awesome.
it's kind of funny. Seeing the first one, that just feels great. And again, funny that's kind of how it started with like, "Hey, I don't want to do this right now. I don't have the money."
Yeah.
But it quickly turned into like, "Yes, let's do it." So.
No, I love that so much. So, okay, so tell me, what did the ad look like? Like, what was the content that was behind the ad?
So I tried a few ads already. I tried, maybe I can pull some of them up. I wonder here.
Well, if you do that, you're going to mess my stream up.
Oh, okay.
The way I'm
so
pulling your face off. Yeah. No, I mean, and we can, what would be really cool is if you can, we can get, if you send a link, like I would love to see that stuff, and I can share that with everybody if you don't mind. You can tell me no, it's fine. But I'm just curious, like, kind of describe to me what the thought process was behind the ad, the content side, and then how did you run the ad? What was the back end logistics of like your targeting, your, all of that, the stuff on the back end of that?
Yeah. So, my thought with going into this is selling the emotional part of it.
Okay.
Right. I think, so when I was thinking of creatives, it had to be the emotional side of things. And to me, the emotional side of things is a lot of before and afters. What it is now, and maybe not just only before and afters, but what it is now, but what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of creatives that do that. So again, I hadn't done jobs yet. So
Sure.
you have to use
So you're
AI
limited
and other
on
things.
the 100%, right?
Yeah. I've done marketing campaigns before for construction companies, and what I always saw there that worked well were videos. Again, very hard to do video when you haven't had a job.
When you don't have any video, yeah.
But what's become pretty common is to make videos out of images, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is that I took a picture of one of the ads that I did, picture of a nice clean garage, and I played with Nano Banana from Google.
Yep.
At first I wanted to find a messy garage and have Nano Banana clean up the garage and make it look clean so I can show what it is, but what it could be. It's not very good at doing that. But what I found it is doing good at, it's a clean garage and
making it messy. Yeah. No, I could see that 100%.
And then playing it backwards.
Yes. I love that. That's super creative. Yeah, no, I could see that for sure. Yeah, and then just reverse it, right? Okay,
right.
Cool. So the back end of it, what kind of ads are you running? Like you're using Meta, right?
Yeah.
Like the Meta stuff. So what kind? Are you doing lead ads or is it brand awareness? Like what are you doing on that?
So far, I've tried a few because I'm just kind of testing to see what works. I tried awareness, engagement ads.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of engagement, but no one messaged me. I was hoping that there would be like a Facebook message or something. I thought maybe that would be the easiest way, I know that with forms generally, harder to get somebody to fill out a form. So I thought I was going to make it easy at first and just do like message us. So they can message me on Facebook and we can start the conversation from there. No one messaged and it reached quite a bit of people, that could have been a creative or maybe targeting. But I'm like, let's just try other things. Eventually I started trying lead ad forms. So just with a lead.
Uh-huh.
And I started doing reels. So a reel ad, the one that I said, I found like a funny TikTok sound that went well with like, I did the reverse in faces as they got cleaner and cleaner. And I thought it created a pretty good ad and did a form there because maybe I thought, let's make this look super legit. Let's make them fill out a form. Generally, when somebody fills out a form, the conversation goes over much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So that's where it actually started moving. So I've gotten like 7 leads off of them filling out a form.
I knew you were going to say that because we went through that exact same process of what you just said. The exact same process. Yeah. We started, it was because I thought the same process. I was like, I'll go do the brand awareness stuff and really get that going. And what I found was the lead ads is what was kicking off for us. Right. And it's up and down. Like some days, today, for example, we got one lead. But there are some days where we're getting 6 off the same ad spend, right? And so it's just like the consistency there. The brand awareness thing, it was funny to me how that really didn't turn into immediate revenue for us. And it's funny to me that you went through that exact same process. But what I've also learned is that I was focusing on the lead ads and I had that going through and revenue was coming in. But what I've learned is if I have, and this is only because I've got the cash to do it, if I'm running brand awareness ads on both Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the same time, I've noticed that over time, I'm getting text messages from TikTok or from Facebook's Reels and Instagram. And that brand awareness is seeping into my lead ads as well. Because now I'm seeing those lead ads, the cost is getting lower and lower, right? So I'm running both, but you're 100% right. In the early stages, it's revenue. Revenue's the game, money coming in. And so the lead ads was a really fast way to get that going. So just keep that in mind because I'll tell you, TikTok is very interesting for me right now. We're running TikTok ads. The biggest job we've ever had to date, about $8,000, and that came from a TikTok ad. So never discount the brand awareness stuff. Just know it's slower, right? Or like it's
right.
That's more about like the serendipity of like, oh, someone saw it and they needed it. They were like going through TikTok and they're sitting in their garage when they see it, right? So I love that so much. But it's so funny to me that you went through that exact same process and discovered the same thing,
Yeah. So I've been sticking with the lead ad forms, and now I'm playing around with like, again, at first I was being very broad, targeting the whole city. Now I'm targeting neighborhoods.
This
just, you
this
know,
is so,
the
this
idea
the
was like,
mirror image of what we went through is so crazy to me. Yeah,
yeah,
we
because like, you know, I'm like, you know, there's some areas where there's brand new housing that I have probably no interest in advertising because they probably don't have a messy garage yet. But I'm like, I bet if I advertise with the older houses near like Main Street, that's where, you know,
mm-hmm.
a house that was built in the 50s and 60s, I bet you I'll find some houses that need some
Yeah.
help there. Generally, older people tend to live there. And actually, that's where I've gotten a lot of the leads lately. So
Yep.
now I am playing around with that because I still want all types of customers, but it's been interesting to kind of think through the thought process of like, maybe there's just neighborhoods that I want to target because, you know, that way at least I know all the money's going to towards people that own a home, probably have a garage, and my thought process, I'm still testing it out. I'm not saying that it might not work in other areas, was that a house that's been built for some time is probably where I'm going to find more of the cluttered garages and whatnot.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it's the same thing out here. We have newer homes, and we've gotten a couple jobs out there, but they're not super messy. Like it's not a big deal. Like we usually just throwing some stuff away or reorganizing stuff. It's the older homes that are like the big jobs because they've been there for a while. You're nailing it on the head. That's exactly right. This is all the stuff that we've kind of discovered as we're going through. And this is the nitty gritty. This is what I wanted to really dive into because especially from a marketing perspective, like so many people are like surface level understanding of how this stuff works. And when you really dive into like why you're doing what you're doing, it starts to make a whole lot of sense. So for us too, we're pinpointing. I have pins on top of these specific neighborhoods down to like a 1 or maybe 2 mile radius because like I know, like you said, like I know there are people in that area that can't afford our services and are interested or may have all this clutter because other parts of the neighborhood, first of all, you know, they can't afford it.
Right.
Why am I spending money there? You know? So the 100%. I love this stuff. This local ad stuff. It really gets fun kind of diving in and really doing the market research, right? And this is cool for us.
If you have an older home areas, you know, I'm trying that out right now. I figure that's probably going to be something there as well. Since that, in my mind, that's again like trying to think of who the demographic, the type of person that would want to more than likely pay for this, right? And I think that's why when I watched some of your videos mentioning, I think the first job you did was an older woman with her husband that had passed away.
Yep.
I love that. I love the idea of helping someone like that. And so, but again, you know, how do I get in contact with them? How do we let them know that we're a one-to-one match? So that's where the marketing stuff kind of gets fun and interesting to me because I do want to help these people. You know, I think it's
What's that population out there?
about 120,000, I would
Okay.
say, you know, with surrounding cities and whatnot, but it's leans very old here.
Gotcha.
It's in Utah, it's in southern Utah, but like there's no snow here. This is where everyone from Utah kind of vacations and comes to. So and people come to retire.
Sure.
So just older, very young or very old people. That's kind of the demographic here.
No, and that's 100. I mean, that's great. That's exactly. I mean, you're in the perfect place for that, right? No, okay. So
That's kind of how I saw it there. That's why I think we are.
okay, no, that's freaking awesome. So I love that you have your first job. So like, what's going in? Okay, so you have more leads. You know you've got more that are coming in, right? So what? How many leads do you have at the moment?
Yeah. I have 6.
6 leads right now, and you've spent how much? 300, you said?
300.
Yeah. So 6. That's not bad. I don't think that's a bad start, especially given you have no content, right?
Right.
You know, like you're kind of figuring that out.
Some of my questions were going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, I don't know if that's a good cost per lead. You know, I'm sure your cost per lead is lower now. Very similar to what you said. I have days where I gotten like leads in one day, another day where I didn't get any.
Yep.
With the same amount of spend. I assume that's pretty normal. And again, I don't have reviews. I don't have a lot of things backing up the business, which that to me makes sense. And that's where kind of my questions were kind of headed towards. Like once you started getting jobs, how does this speed up? Was it all through ads? Does the word of mouth come to play? You know, there's a few questions there that, you know, I kind of had in mind.
Yeah, I mean it's like any other business. Like, yeah, it's getting the train started, right? Like it's like any other business. It is hard to push the train and get it on the track, but once it starts going, as long as you keep feeding it, the momentum kind of picks up, right? So something to think about, like, it depends on, like, especially with ads. Ads is difficult because like what you spend is going to make a difference a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. And so like you've got to be careful about not running out of cash running ads, because then everything stops, right? So limiting that, and just kind of, again, it's just like a slow burn sometimes. Unless you've got a ton of cash, you can throw on ads right away, but then you got to deal with the repercussions of having 100 leads, you know, because that is a problem. Whether it's a good problem or not, it's still a problem you have to deal with. So, I mean, no, you're on the right track, man. You're doing exactly right. You're thinking about the right stuff as you're running these ads on, like, is it effective? Why is it effective? Really, really diving into that. So I think you're in a good place. I think the thing is, it's experimenting with the content. Do you spend any time on TikTok?
I do. I
So,
wouldn't say I spend a whole lot of time there, but I do.
do you post stuff?
No.
Okay, so especially going into your first job, I would record a bunch of stuff, right? The before and after, the process of doing it. Maybe you see something that's pretty cool. Maybe you're doing like a selfie of like, hey, we're getting this started. And then like at the end, like, hey, we're done, or halfway through. Like make a ton of videos and then post all of them. Go and edit 5 different versions of the same video and post them all on TikTok. And I say that because what's going to happen is you're going to have some videos that are going to overperform. You're going to have some videos that are garbage and they're going to get 20, 30 views. But then you're going to have a couple, especially if you've never posted before, that are going to do 200, 300, 400 views. And when you see that difference, because TikTok is very good, their algorithm very much understands what people want to watch. If you're able to get a couple of those videos really pop off and you see the outliers, I would then download that video, put it on Facebook, and run it as an ad. And this is not a profound thing. Like, this is not, I'm going to make this very clear. Like, I'm not the one that came up with this at all, but it just works. Like, when you're using TikTok as a testing ground, and do it on Facebook too. Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, posting all these pieces of content and just watching the numbers of seeing what's working. It has nothing to do with I'm going to go viral or I want a lot of views. What you're looking for is the content work. Does it work? And if it works organically on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, you have a pretty good, precursor to knowing that it's going to be more effective as an ad.
No, that makes sense to me. I've never done much on TikTok. Like almost everything I've done has been on Meta. I do post like organic content, and then if the organic does better on average, then I'm like, that's a good indication. I should probably run an ad behind it.
Yep.
But I've never really known how to like layer TikTok into all of it. Especially the organic side of it.
I only say TikTok because that algorithm is so beefy.
Makes sense.
Like Facebook, yeah, I mean they're leaning in that direction. They're really pushing that like interest-based kind of thing, but like TikTok just has had it down for the last 5 years. And so I really gauge stuff off TikTok because, man, it's so simple and it's so fast.
Well, that's where I saw you too. So I mean, obviously, it's doing something.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you get it, you understand. No, I love that. Okay, cool.
By the way, I send the link to the Facebook page of the what the business is. Kind of how I started. There's some of the ads that I'm running are based on the content that you see there anyway. So
let's see here. I'm gonna pull this guy up.
Okay, it's only been live for like a week, so.
I'm looking now. Yeah, Happy Garage Car. Okay, Happy Garage Care. I love this. Nice. I see the AI stuff. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll probably see a video there if you scroll down, and that's the one that I did in reverse and then played it,
Wow.
Well, this is going to be my...
Let's see. Hold on.
Wow. Well, this is going to be my personality for the rest of my life.
Yep. I mean, yeah, you understand it. You get it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you just experiment with and you get as you get deeper into it, you're going to find out what works or not. That video is great. I think that's a great place. It makes sense to me that you have leads. Just seeing that,
Well,
right?
thank you.
Yeah, 100%. But then it gets interesting because then you have to think about the type of clientele you're targeting. How do you make sure the content matches that clientele? Right? Because we all speak different languages. Some stuff, right, may resonate more with other people, and they're not. Like, I'll tell you, older people crack me up because, especially on Facebook, man, they're watching everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's they're not scrolling at the same speed that like us, 20, 30, 40-year-olds are, right? Like, they're slow through the stuff. And so you might be able to bring in a little more detail with some of these, right? Just an experiment, not giving you advice, but just saying, like, that's something to think about, especially if your town skews older. Like, here's a great thing. Ask ChatGPT, how do I make a Facebook reel ad video for my garage cleaning business that is that will capture the attention of 70 and 80 and 90-year-olds? And then just see what it spits out. I mean, that would be interesting.
Actually, that's a very good point. My marketing mind has always been like, get their attention quickly, get to the point fast. Hard to do that sometimes when you really want to show like a big transformation or the benefits, etc. So that's a very good point there.
Well, it's because in marketing, especially corporate marketing land, we're always talking about how do we get the younger demographic. It's like always the younger demo, right? 30 or 40s is fine, but like we're really trying to capture that younger demo, and that's why we're trained that way. But like not everyone reacts to that. Not everyone interacts with these platforms the exact same way. And then this is the other thing that happens because of the way that we're trained in corporate world is we make content that's very broad. That's very, even my ads right now are very broad. It's me saying, if your garage looks like this, boom, right? But how do you really target into and be specific with that demo? A really good example of this is my ad right now. I open the ad saying, if you live in the Midland, Odessa area, I open the ad that way, not because it's cute, but because I want people to stop. Because I understand that when they're scrolling through Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they're seeing videos from Russia and China and London and Utah and New York. I want them to stop because they're like, oh, this is local. Because then they're going to stop for a moment and be like, oh, I live there, right? So
that's a very good call out, actually. That's
a good example of like really diving into the weeds of that. And then I think, how do you go even further? Hey, if you live in the Midland, Odessa area and you're I don't even know how to say this without like offending someone, but I'm thinking like, if you're in the Midland, Odessa area and you're old and you can't clean your garage, you need to call me. Like, obviously not like that. I don't know. Maybe that would work, but like diving a little bit deeper into that. And then you can really like nail down the targeting of like, I only want to target on this specific ad set, 60 and up or 70 and up.
So, I really like what you said about calling out the city. I never even thought about that. But when I have seen something that would say, do you live in St. George, Utah? It might not be something that I don't care about at all, but I'm going to listen just because I'm like, hey, I'm from there. What are they talking about?
So St. George, you know what even be crazier? Here's what even be crazier. If you live on Main Street in St. George, like something so stupid where it's like, holy cow, they're listening. You know what I mean? And this is just stuff to experiment with, and I think it would be interesting. Like, I'm even thinking now, like, can I even pinpoint further and really dive into the specific neighborhoods we have? So, like, I live in a neighborhood called Parksville Ranch. So, like, okay, what does that ad look like? Hey, if you're my neighbor in Parksville Ranch and you need your garage clean, give me a call. I live down the street here on Brombark. Come hit me up, or give me a call or give me a text. And then do that same thing for all these different neighborhoods that have names to them. I think that could be interesting. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but you're right. It does work, though. I run ads for a construction company, and they do like exterior remodeling.
Yeah.
And they send me all these like pictures of the property before and after, et cetera, and make video ads out of it, et cetera, and whatnot. They had this house that was a pretty rundown house, kind of a dirt patch, et cetera. It looked like crap. And the transformation of it was amazing.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. But when we went to talk to the owner of the business and whatnot, he didn't want me to run that ad to every place because their ideal customer doesn't have a house like that in the first place. And the ideal customer is not going to love seeing a rundown house. Sure, the transformation was awesome, but it's still a pretty small, tiny house. They're trying to work with larger houses.
Right.
So, like, that ad would be perfect for this city, but I need one of like a newer, larger home being transformed for this city because the customer in this area is going to respond differently to what they're seeing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I haven't gotten that deep into the garage area, but that's probably something I need to figure out too.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is a really good example. I'm going to give a quick, hold on. Do I have the book in here? No, I think it's on my nightstand. I'm going to give a quick unsolicited shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk's book. The, what is the freaking name of the book? The purple one. Shoot, it's the brand new one. I'm dropping the ball on this hard. The purple and yellow one. Someone help me. Does anybody remember?
Day Trading Attention?
Day Trading Attention. Thank you. Jesus.
Yeah.
Have you read this book yet?
I'm not.
You need to buy it. You need to, I mean, rip it off of freaking Wikipedia if you can find it somewhere. The book is so good because it really dives into this. This was like one of the big moments that I was reading this book was like this aha thing because back to corporate land where we're trained in broad targeting, broad advertising, right? When you really start going into this, he calls it, we break up, our demographics into cohorts where it's 18 to 25 or blah 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 blah, right? What he dives into is like, how do you get cohorts with teeth? And what he means by that is 18 to 25-year-olds who are really into Marvel, because that ad is much different. That is a clip of Thanos snapping his finger and the garage gets cleaned. You see what I'm saying? Like, though, like really, I love that, by the way. That came out of the top of my head. I want everyone to know that. That really breaks it, because if you can really break down and understand what these people are going through, like, it gets very, very interesting very quickly, because then the ads can get very specific, and then that lead cost gets real low. Because they're like, that person's talking to me,
I'm talking about books. Actually, the latest one that I read was the $100 million Leads.
Okay. I don't know
from
that
Alex Hormozy.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
I'm sure you know him and whatnot. And I've always seen a lot of his videos online and whatnot. Never thought much of it, but I kept hearing the recommendation of this book. And, his whole thing is, it's leads is everything. Right. It's very hard to have a failing business if you have a lot of leads.
If you have a lot of leads, yeah.
And that's kind of the mentality that I'm trying to adopt with this. And that's why so many of my questions that, kind of what I have in mind is, how do I get more leads? Like, what has been working for you, et cetera? Because I would love to know I don't know if you want to share what kind of ads have performed the best, or maybe the targeting.
Yes, I absolutely. I'm going to interrupt you for a moment because I really want to get to this TikTok question. And I'm going to get back to your promise. This is a good one.
Okay.
So we have Mr. Sam here. He says, "Thank you for being willing to go public with your journey. I have been following you since the start. I am trying to get the courage to do the same. This is interesting to me. And Mr. Sam, please take no offense here. But like, what courage, like, what do you mean by courage? Like, what's the fear? You're not risking anything if you don't quit your job, like I was told to, right? If you're not quitting your job, you're not risking anything. Like, what is the fear? Are you afraid they're going to say no? Are you afraid that, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fear gonna? If they say no, you go to the next one, right? Or you go knock on doors. You do whatever you can. I mean, I have a funny feeling it's fear of failure. That's what I really think is happening. It's fear of, like, this isn't going to work. Like, guys, let me see. Just wanted to let you know that you're showing us how simple it really is. Just wanted to let you know that you're showing us how simple it really is. It can be very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Like, I knew it was. I knew it was, Sam. You're afraid of jumping into fear of failure. Guess what? I have 5 different business failures under my belt right now. And I can go back and talk about all of them, and they sucked, right? Like, they failed for whatever reason it was. And so, like, you can't be afraid of that because you learn from that shit. The stuff that I have learned from my failures is the reason why I'm having any success today at all. So don't be afraid. Fucking do it. Anyway.
I just want to throw in there, I've had my fair share of failures as well. So,
yeah, man, like that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Nobody starts a business their first time ever and it's like successful. I mean, maybe there's a few people, right? There's maybe 1% like really knock it out of the park the first time. But like if you go ask anybody who's successful, 99% of them are going to be able to tell you about the 100 failures they had before something clicked. And I get it, Sam. And now I can't afford to lose the family now. Me either. I can't afford to lose either. You don't have to go all in. It doesn't have to be 100%. Like it's just not black and white, right? There's gray area. Book one job a week and see how you feel. You know, don't let that be the thing, right?
You know, I think that I've kind of learned along the way, and there's a guy that kind of talks about this. I can't recall his name right now. He mentions that the smart entrepreneur really doesn't take any risks because really, if you do it like you're saying, and your extra time, a type of work is something like this where you're selling your time and very small resources, the risk you're taking is almost non-existent. There's mostly upside if it works. If it doesn't work, you almost didn't really lose anything. It's not like you have to buy too many things to actually get this thing going. Most of these things are in your house, probably.
Yeah. So, and everybody wants it to be like a full-on business right away with business cards and T-shirts and a truck and you have the warehouse and no one like there's time to get there. You have all this time on the front end to really build something with zero risk, but it really are sparking something. You should just fucking do it, Mr. Sam. I think you should just do it. I think you should go and post a shit ton of content on Facebook and find your first lead and go clean a fucking garage. Like if that's what you're interested in, right? Like I think you should. Cause like, what is it going to be? I mean, go take a Sunday and go clean one garage and see how you like it. You may find out you hate it too, by the way. Cause like, it's not super fun sometimes.
Yeah, here we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Just to add on to them, as a piece of, like I said, I failed at stuff too. You kind of nailed it there. You don't need the shirts. You don't need the truck. If anything, what I learned from my failures is don't spend too much money up front. That makes you feel like you're doing a business. You only have a business when you have money coming in. So just worry about getting set up and getting a job. And then if it starts going, then you can start spending some money on, all the legal stuff, all the marketing stuff, etc. Just getting jobs.
Guys, this is great.
You're super low cost.
This is great. Guys, I just literally like 2 days ago, I filed my LLC. Like we weren't a real business until like 3 days ago. Same thing. I still don't have business cards, by the way. I'm still waiting for our T-shirts to come in because that's taken forever. Like I haven't even designed the business card. The website we have, like I built in 30 minutes because I have experience doing that, but I built it in 30 minutes and it's garbage. There's no information. No one has any idea. Like there's maybe a button they can click to call us and that's it. Like it's not a full-on website.
I have a website too, happygaragecare.com. It sucks. I built it myself too.
But like this is the
thing.
You're 100% right though. Like this is exactly what we're talking about. Like it doesn't. Everybody wants it to look like a business instead of being one. And there's a huge difference. Your website, no matter if you spend, I think it's ridiculous if you're spending more than like I don't know if you're spending more than 30 minutes on a website for a business that hasn't started yet. You're focused on the wrong shit.
Well, it helps people feel like they're doing the business, even though that's not really the business should be making money.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. Like I'm ADHD and I've always read that and this is so funny to me because I've realized this from my life, what's happened. I've read before in ADHD people that they don't plan because when they plan, they won't execute. because they got the dopamine from the planning, and then they don't care to go execute anymore, right? And so it's been a funny thing in my life because I've noticed I do like fucking no planning. I don't think, like, I was talking about I was talking on the podcast yesterday where I had the idea to do this, and then like 7 days later we had our first job. Like, it was you understand, 7 days to build out the Facebook page, build the website, get the ads running, boom, 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 and then like get the lead, and then go talk to the lead and secure the quote and figure out the pricing, all that within 7 days, and we had the first job because I did zero planning. Right? And does that work for everybody? Maybe not, but like, I think the actionable thing of just going and doing it and then just letting the chips fall where they may is for me, it works so well.
That's good to know that. I've heard the similar thing with weight loss. A lot of people have a hard time losing weight loss because they talk about the journey they're going to be doing or how they're starting, and they get the dopamine.
I'm going to
it's
lose
almost
50
like they
pounds.
feel like they lost the weight loss by talking about it.
Yes. And it's crazy. And I think, this is the same thing with like, it's people that sit around. I have some great friends. But for years we would go and drink in the backyard around a fire and talk about the bar we wanted to start. And it never materialized because we sat around and talked about it. And this may hit hard for some people. Like, I think maybe you're talking about your dream way too fucking much and you should just go do it. Your dream isn't shit if you don't do something. It's just, it's just a dream. Damn. Anyway, this is good. I love this. All right, man. What else? Any other specific, questions?
Well, yeah, that question, which is what creatives that work best. That's one of my main questions. And the other ones that I have is, how do you price things out? So right now, I really want to offer kind of like flat pricing, but I know some are going to be way more. Like you mentioned, there's a job that even is going to be like $8,000. How do you even know that it's worth that much? Like, so, I'm throwing two very different questions here.
No, that's okay.
Those are the main ones that I have because as I have these leads, they keep asking me how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I really just don't know how to approach this quite yet. Like, I want to be in the $500 range, but if I tell them that before I even go there, or then again, I'm going to know really how much work it is by what I see there tomorrow. But I'm not going to get there.
So
like
I'll give you
more just because it looks like a lot.
Yeah, I'll give you very specifics on the way that we do the pricing for this. I price things out based off of how many hours I think it's going to take. I do not share that with the client. We don't talk about hourly rate because I'm not interested in having that conversation with them, right? I price it out. If I go in and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to take about 2 hours, I charge them, $3.99. If I go in and it looks like it's going to take 4 hours, I charge them $5.99. If I go in and it looks like it's going to take me 8 hours, we charge them $5.99 times 2. Like, I try and make it very simple for them. And it's simple for us too, because we're able to really kind of, and it's a lot of it is just, you kind of get a feel for it. I don't have a great answer for this because like, there's not like a science behind how we're doing this. It's just like, yeah, that'll take about 4 hours. Right.
Well, what would take a long, like when you go into a garage and you see it, what stands out to you quickly that this is going to take a long time?
Density. It's density of clutter, right? If I see that they have a bunch of big shit, if they have couches and tables and furniture, I'm like, this won't take that long because it's a bunch of bulky stuff and it's just taking up room. But if I go in and I'm seeing the entire garage stacked from bottom to top with boxes, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to take some time. Right. Okay. So the clutter density, I think, is a big deal. And maybe there's an AI way to solve this. Like, take a picture, determine clutter density, tell me how much I should charge. Maybe. I don't know. I thought about that early on and I just kind of dropped that. Maybe that's a cool thing you could figure out. And if you do, let me know. But I don't have a great answer for how we're doing that because it's all just kind of gut feeling right now. And that is a shitty way to do this, by the way, for everyone to know. Like, I don't have a really scientific way of doing this. It's just what's been working for us so far. And then maybe down the line, we'll kind of formalize the process. But it's been working well. I've only missed twice. There were 2 jobs I overbid or underbid. And I kind of had to eat that a little bit, but the margins are so wide that it didn't bother me that much. Like I just didn't make as much profit as I would have, you know? So
What do you find is the best value prop in this thing? Is it the cleaning out of the garage? Is it cleaning the garage? Is it the organizational part?
I think it's more the organizational stuff is we're going to,
Okay.
and it's both, right? I'm going to clean it out and I'm going to organize it for you because we're very parallel to, we're running side by side with junk haulers.
Right. That's what I've been thinking. Yeah.
Right. And so, but junk haulers aren't going to go into your garage and organize it, right? They're just going to pick your shit up and throw it out. So this is where I think it's been very interesting for us is because I'm running side by side a lot of these junk haulers and we're doing the thing they're not willing to do. And that's really what's, I think, made an interesting difference here. And what's funny is I still get calls for junk hauling. I'm stealing business from them even on that side. It's not a lot. It's not like I'm a big thorn in their side market share wise, right? But the fact that that's even happening at all is interesting to me.
That is interesting. Okay, so the organizational stuff, because again, like what I have in mind is that I want to leave everyone happy, right? Like I provided the value they expected, and that's what I wanted to know. If the value to them really comes from the organizational part, the cleaning part, because at first I was maybe thinking too much about like, should I clean their floors really well, etc. It sounds like this is more so like
no, we sweep the floors out and I use a leaf blower. Like we don't get too far into it. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome to know that. So
you have to understand like the level of what's happening, right? They're
right.
going from this like cluttered monstrosity of a mess to all of a sudden like their floors getting swept. Like they're grateful. Shit.
Right.
Know?
That already looks amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, and to answer your other question, the content, right?
Yeah.
Here's another place where I don't have a really good answer for this yet because we're still very much kind of experimenting with how we're doing this. I know the piece of content that's working for us really well right now is the one I was just describing. My selfie video in my garage. If you live in the Midland, Odessa area and your garage looks like this, swing over, show the garage, shoot me a text or fill the link out below and we'll get back to you and get you a quote. Boom. That's the whole fucking video. And that's working for us. Now there's deeper stuff going on in my head when I do this. The personal branding matters to me. I want people to see my face and know me as the guy that's doing this, even if I'm not the one that shows up to the garage, right? They understand that I'm the one building the business. I want them to, because I think that that's going to lead to other things down the line. And then the trust for me is a big thing, right? Because like, are you going to trust just a nameless or like a faceless brand? Or like, are you going to trust Paul, the garage guy? That's really what I'm thinking when I do that, So like most of our videos
I've been fighting the personal branding side of it. I know that that's the way of the world now. Really, like personal branding is kind of where it's at.
It's gonna get even more very quickly because AI is starting to commoditize out a lot of shit.
That's true.
And when that starts really hitting head, like the only thing you can really count on is like, I'm a real person. I can go and shake your hand. That's going to start mattering a lot. In my opinion.
Yeah. One of my other questions here, I kind of have written down. When you have a lead, what has it been super easy to close them in general for you? Is it like generally they're already ready and you're just giving them the details, or are you having to do any kind of like sales tactics there?
Man, this is the funny one. We do lose leads sometimes for price, but what I've noticed is funny is because we're the only people doing this, 9 times out of 10, if they can afford it, we close them. And I don't know that plays out long term. I know that made me think about pricing quite a bit. Because like when we first started, we were charging $4.99 and I was getting nothing but yeses. And I'm like, I kind of want to make this a little bit harder on myself. So we jumped to the $6.99 that the Gary V, right? The $6.99, we jumped to $6.99 and it was going well, but we were starting to get a lot more no's. And I wanted to hit that middle area of like, I'm going to get the yeses that I really want. and not lose people to the like, oh, $6.99 is a little bit pricey, but I'll do $5.99. People's brain works very weird, right? But $5.99 is kind of where we've kind of nestled, and it's been working really well. Even if I get a lead, I know like 9 times out of 10 we're probably going to close them. As long as I can meet them and see the garage in person 9 times. Sometimes I have people pay the deposit before I even leave. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's just what's working for us. I have no idea. Maybe I'm just a fucking monster salesman, but I don't think that's the case.
Actually leads me to my next question here. Are you mostly selling, is this all through text? Like, what works better for you? Like, are they scheduling through your website? My gut tells me no, that it's probably mostly through your phone if you're talking to you.
Correct.
But I wanted to know where to put my focus there to like get them to fill out because in my website, for example, I do have a place where they can just go ahead and schedule the quote right there.
Sure.
For me to go out and see them.
The quote scheduling, yeah. I mean, every once in a while we do, because I do have a thing on my website where they can go and like select a quote request time. Very few people do that. I maybe had 3 people fill that out since we had the thing set up. Most of it is done over text message through the app we're using. It's called Jobber. Sorry, I had like a really good barbecue dinner and I'm like kind of gassy. So most of it's through text, sometimes through phone call, all through that Jobber app, which I love, by the way. There's some stuff I wish it would do differently, but for our purposes, it does it very, very well. But yeah, they request a time and then I get with them, and in the app you can literally select like I'm gonna visit this person at this time to keep the schedule going, so you're not overbooking or double booking anything. So it keeps a really good track of that, but it's all done through text. And this goes back to what I was talking about with the personal brand thing. Is I think that personal connection is going to really matter very quickly, especially for you. You think about the older demo you're dealing with. They want to talk to you. They don't want to have a conversation with a chat bot. They don't want to have to, if they call you, I mean, I do this and I'm younger. If I call and I get an automated message that requires me to go through 4 different steps to talk to a person, I'm pissed by the time that person answers the phone, And I think that that's really, really relevant as we start, especially with what we're doing. And I think it's going to be relevant across the board in all industries, because we've swung so hard into this automation world, where we've got automated text systems and chat bots and online booking where you don't have to really talk to anybody. That thing I think is going to start swinging the other direction real fast, where I'm going to want to shake your hand, especially with AI coming and I can't trust the shit I'm seeing on the internet. I'm going to want to meet you in person.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that's something they got to change. I actually have a phone number set up that forwards to my number, but that way if I don't answer, they'll get an automatic text to them saying with an AI connected to it saying, "Hey, sorry, missed your call. How can I help?" I kind of trained it on the business and whatnot.
Sure.
Because I'm very terrible at answering the phone.
Let me make something clear. This is just my opinion on this. There's no right or wrong way. This is kind of what I'm thinking. I think if I was in your shoes, I love the automation system, but it's like how you use it matters, right? Having the automated system put up and the text message goes through and literally saying what you just said, "Hey, I'm really bad at answering my phone. I'm so sorry I missed your call. I will call you back right away." Like, that's interesting to me. I have people, and this is something I've noticed too, and I've noticed over the years with other stuff, is that if I send what looks like, even if I'm the one personally texting it, if I send what looks like an automated message, people ignore it. Even if I physically type the thing out, right? So this is something I think I think a lot of businesses are going to struggle with, is how do we get past this? Because we're not going to be able to trust even voice. Have you seen the shit that's happening with AI voice?
I mean, my voicemail for the business that I made, I used an AI voice.
And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just thinking, like, what is this? What are the repercussions of us leaning into this so hard?
Right.
I don't know. It's just something, and that may be 20 years away from us, right?
I'm totally like in the same train. It's funny, I'm using these things, but at the same time, I totally see the shift happening where people want the personal touch.
Yeah.
People want to be dealing with people. That's why I know that personal branding is so important. Like, I know that it matters so much to be the individual more than the company right now.
Yeah.
So I know I have to lean into that more, but yeah, I have to put more thought into, even if I am using some of these tools, how do I make it seem a little bit more personal?
Yeah.
The reason why I even said that maybe it's not a great idea to use that AI, because in an automated message, it has to say, when it says, sorry, I missed your call, blah, 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 it has to say, if you don't wish to be contacted anymore, say stop or whatever. That piece alone might just get, like you said, the older demographic to be like, oh, I'm dealing with a bot. Screw this.
Fuck this. Yeah. No, and the automate. Let me make something. I fucking love AI. I think it's amazing. I think what's happening is crazy, but I think what people are going to do is, and too many people are going to overuse it in a way that becomes detrimental to their business, in my opinion, right? Because I use AI for a lot of stuff. I don't use it for the connections. I don't like using it for that because I think we're automating away what makes us human. And I don't know, that sounds kind of like Orwellian for me to say that. But that's how I feel. Like, I want to talk to a person. That's it. Now, if that person wants to have a whole system set up that automates the invoice and sends the quote and does the approval and then sends it to their Google Drive and does all, I'm fine with that. But I want to fucking talk to you at some point. You know?
That makes sense.
That's how I feel about it.
No, that's giving me a lot of things to think about here and how to approach it. Because again, this goes back to, like, if that's my demographic, what should be the experience from start to finish? Maybe not even just the ad, but the experience from start to finish.
Yeah. And this is something that I kind of fucking built it as we went. Because for us, we made mistakes on it because I tried to do what was happening early on is I was getting these leads coming in and I was personally talking to every single person. And what was happening is I was closing every single one. I had 100% close rate for the first 2 weeks. And then I'm like, I'm going to automate some of this. I'm going to send text messages out and ask for pictures instead of going to their place. And guess what happened? Close rate started getting lower and lower. And it's just one of those things. It's like the immediate difference. So it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to do this. Like those kind of navigating through those nuances of how people are interacting was very interesting to me. And so now we're in a place where I've got 2 people. I've got 2 full-time crew members. I can send either one of them to go do a quote. I'll just, hey, this person needs a quote, and they're all in the app too, so they can see all the requests and they just kind of decide who's going to go. But that's made a tremendous difference because they're meeting the people that work for us in person. They can talk to them through what we're talking about, send them the quote, and then we're done. Right. Because before I couldn't handle all of that myself. Like, I'm one person,
right?
Especially with all the other stuff I've got going on. So that's a big deal for me. Long story short.
Is it Jobber? I have not looked into that before.
Yeah, what's funny? I just Googled it and it was the first one that popped up. And I'm like, yeah, this one looks good. I'm going to do it. Like, literally the story of my life is like, that looks good. Let's go with it.
Well, no, I love it though. It's action over overthinking stuff. Overthinking's never gotten anything very far.
And if I want to change the CRM later down the line, I will. But right now it works and I'm not going to mess with it. It's not going to be perfect. There's no perfect CRM. I've played with millions of them and they're all trash in some way. And some of them are great now. It's not worth going through and like, I don't know. It's just too much brain power to go through and try and find the perfect one for what we're doing.
Right. Well, I was going to have one of my, you probably have to go soon, so I'm not going to take much more of your time here. The reselling piece is very interesting, but I think that's a whole nother conversation there.
It sure is.
I do have a reselling question that I think would matter is, how have you approached buying this stuff from people? Because again, I guess this is where I'm coming from with the question. Like, I looked at your website, and you say, reclaim, resell, etc. Right? Maybe they have an expectation of what the reselling looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the time where you actually have the conversation of like, all right, well, here's $100. I'm just going to take all your stuff. I don't know. Like, well, how does that conversation look like?
Yeah. So I'll tell you right now, you hit something that's interesting because one, I need to go revisit that website because we've changed the motto. Some stuff have changed there, and I'm like, the way we approach this is very different now. Because I need to go look at that because I have no idea what the fucking website says. But so no, is the way we approach it now is we go to the clean out. I don't mention it to them really. Like I think they may have an idea because they've seen the stuff we've talked about, but I don't really mention it. We go and clean the garage out. We sweep it out. We make sure that it looks great. They're happy with it. They decide what they want to keep and they put it back in their garage. And the stuff they don't want, we end up just telling them like, okay, this stuff may have some value here. If I'll buy it from you and I'll take $100 off your invoice. And most of the time they're like, hell yeah, let's go. And then we take it.
Okay.
We don't really, I mean, I just don't overcomplicate it. Like, cause you could go through every single item and like price everything out and then say you're going to buy it for that.
Well,
but like,
sounds like a mess.
yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I'll give you $100. Will you let me take it? And they're like, yeah. Some people are like, what about 150? And I'm like, all right, I'll do 150. We'll take it, which is fine. Like we'll negotiate. I'm not going to, if they say I want $500 for it, I'm like, no, keep it, sell it yourself. But most of the time they're so grateful to just have the garage done or the storage unit done that they're willing to, they're like, yeah, I'll get it for cheaper. I mean, thank you. Take my stuff. Right. So anyway, that's kind of how we approach
I asked that because I was wondering if I should lead into that more into that in the ads and whatnot, but then the expectations might be kind of high of like, oh, these guys are going to help me resell a bunch of crap. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that
get
either.
into that. I, for me, at least, I don't think you want to get into that because it turns into estate sales very fast. And that is inventorying every single item and stuff is on consignment and you got to give a percentage out. It's just a lot. We just want to buy it outright as an extra little cherry on top. And then we get your garage cleaned. And we approach, it's both in the way we approach that from a sales perspective is like the buying your stuff is an afterthought. We approach the marketing the exact same way. It's the garage clean out first. It is the organization first. And then like, yeah, if you have some stuff, we'll buy it from you. Right.
Nice.
I don't even mention it in most of the ads. Cause I just don't want it to be the thing,
Yeah. No, that's good to know. Because I was wondering if that's something I should test out, but what I kept running into is like, I don't know how to approach it really. Like, I don't know what would work, what their expectations would be. That can get content. Like, that can be some butting of heads really quickly there when they get some expectations.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, and I'm gonna close it because my wife's probably mad at me, but I'm gonna just at the end of this, it doesn't have to be butting heads, right? Like it's just a negotiation there at the end. Like you're not gonna sit there and argue with them. Like, oh, if they give you a number and you don't like it, they say, well, what about $200? I'm like, nah, I can't do that. It's okay. You can sell it yourself. And then they're either going to say, okay, I'll sell it myself, or like, okay, well, what about 150? Like then it just becomes like a negotiation. And it doesn't have to be, I don't approach it that way like a game. Like I'm not interested in doing that. I will do that if I go buy something like at a garage sale. I'm real shifty with that. But on site, I'm uninterested in doing that. Like, I'll give you $100 for it. Take it. Will you take it? And they're like, no, I'll do for 150. Yeah, I'll take for 150. But if they shoot me something big and I don't want to do it, I'm just like, no, it's okay. Like, I think we'll pass. And then we just walk away because and this is back to the resale stuff being a cherry on top. The business works whether we sell shit or not. It's profitable whether we sell stuff or not. And that is the key to this because even if I buy nothing and I just do the garage cleaning business, this can be a monster business, right? The resale stuff is just fun on the side. Like, oh, they didn't want this stuff. Well, they didn't want this lawnmower for some reason. I'll go see if I can sell it. Oh, hell yeah, I got $180 out of it. Like, that's great. But it's not the thing. And I want to, like, that's something to be careful about too, is you don't want to lean too heavy on the resale side because it's not the consistency the same way that you would see out of the service side of it. Because there are times you're going to get some stuff that's just junk and it's not worth selling and it's hard to push. And then there are some garages where you get a $500, World War II radio. Because it's ebb and flow. People have cool stuff and some people don't. So
makes sense. That's very useful information to me. One of the leads that I had was like, if we didn't have to anything to resell, could you do it for cheaper? I thought it was funny. Maybe like my creative is kind of overselling the reselling part of it.
Maybe, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that may be 100% what's happening. Like maybe back off on that a little bit because Like that has to be just an afterthought. You don't want people coming to you and like, and I've had this happen to me too. Like, hey, I've got a bunch of cool stuff. Will you come clean it for free? No, I will not. That sounds awful. You know, like it's a business. Like I'm not, I don't know. That's how I feel. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna have to close this out. Great conversation. I love this. There was some real good stuff in there. I'm really happy about this. Tell me the name of the business again. Say it again.
Yeah, it's happygaragecare.com.
Happygaragecare.com. That has a ring to it. I like it. I like it. So check him out. You're in the Utah area? South Utah?
Southern Utah. Utah.
So check him out if you live in that area. Well, unlikely. I don't have a huge audience yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, I love this so much. I'm so excited for you. You got your first gig. You got to keep us up. Let me know how it goes. I would love an email. We can maybe do a good follow-up on it. Would be really cool. But man, congratulations. I'm pumped for you. And you guys have fun.
Hey, thank you.
We'll see you,
care.
man.
Thanks for everything.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was fun. This was a great one. I love this a lot. Let's see here. Last thing I'm going to say here, guys, if you want to be on, I would love to have you. Please shoot me an email, info@getreclaimed.com. It does not have to be about garage cleaning. Let's make that clear. I love talking about just anything marketing and business. This is fun for me. I don't have all the answers, but I can give you my opinion. I can kind of give you an idea of how I'm feeling about this. Mr. Sam, I love this. I want to see Mr. Sam start something. Do it. Because we talked about this earlier. But anyway, if you want to ask a question, you want to jump on, you want to even email me at info@getreclaimed.com. I'd love to hear from you guys. This is so much fun. I love being back in this game. So yeah, thank you guys again for being here, dropping in. This was super fun. Next episode, I think what we're going to talk about is the pricing. Is pricing across the board for most businesses, because it is a complicated endeavor, and how you price stuff, especially in the service-based business, makes a lot of difference.